Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Program with Scientia. And today is part, what was that, 6? I don't remember. I've been doing a lot of these, guys. It's all on the same day, still on the same day. It's a bit later. Took a little bit of a break from the previous one. For one thing, I needed to refill my waters. Now, we are here in our lovely task module because I was having a revelation, one might say, that this is wrong right here. This is just wrong. I just need to take this, and I need to put it right here and clear this out. Because if this task is marked as complete, it should be marked as complete. It should stop ticking. Like just straight up, just like, yeah, it's done. It's done. So this right here, actually, I'm gonna add a Boolean. That semicolon was a mistake. A Boolean to that. So the reason why I'm doing this right here is I realized, oh, if it's recurring, then it should update the due date. And then right here, I should return not completed. So actually, no, I'm going to return completed. Let's comment this guy. Checks the due date to identify if the task has come due. And returns true if the task is complete and should be removed from the list of tasks. Okay, so one of the things that you'll note right here, so this will remove it from that list. This will, so these things are likely to get attached to other controls, and so this is probably going to be called in part of something else. So this may or may not become relevant, but I want to add that just in case it does. So I wanted to do that while I was thinking about it, and well, I hadn't forgotten. So the next thing to do is to get these category thing going on here. So let's see. When I add a task, how do I want to handle it? I'm going to need to add a couple of forms. So let's go over here to our handy dandy add Windows form. So this first one is going to be, what am I going to call this? Add task form. And add category form. So these are both going to do something that's fairly similar, which is you're going to need to specify the category that you want to add it to, and you're going to specify a name. There's some additional stuff that I'm going to do to these between episodes with regards to the icon, but as per tradition, I'm not going to do that now. So let's go ahead and give this a name, add task. And I'm not going to worry too much about what this guy needs to do right now. This is going to just legitimately have no control box, because this is going to be very simple. And this one I'm also going to turn the control box off because it's very simple as well. Off. Sorry, the scroll wheel got caught in the thing right here. This is going to be add category. Okay, because that's what we want to read. So right now we're not worried about adding tasks. We'll worry about that later. We will do an add task form atf equals new and atf.show dialog. We'll go ahead and do that and add category form acf equal new acf.show dialog. Okay, so that's all nice and dandy. But what we want to do right here is, first of all, I'm going to want some buttons. So one of these buttons is going to be the OK button. We'll call this one OK button. OK. And this one's going to be, of course, the cancel button that reads ampersand before my A, cancel. If you don't know what the ampersand before, it makes that little underline that my mouse cursor is doing a really bad job at showing. And this is just about to point with my finger, and then I realized that was dumb. That underline does a very important job, which is if you hold down Alt and then push that key, it will click that button. Click in finger quotes, but it'll do a click thing to that button. So that's often desirable. Okay, so let's see. Cancel button is right here, and we want to assign it a cancel button. And this should be a fixed dialog because that is what it is. Okay. So things that I'm going to need for this. Let's see. I'm going to need a list of current categories. I'm going to need a name. So let's see. How do I want to do this? I want a combo box. Let's see. I'm going to put that in a group box. If I can find this. All right, there we go. This is going to read add to category. Do I want this at the top? I kind of want this at the top. Is that unreasonable? Is that reasonable? And then I'm just going to add a. Actually, this is basically going to function almost exactly identical to the other one, but I'm going to add a text box. Just going to read category. Actually, so is there a way to set these up with that sort of like baity text that like doesn't count? Probably. Probably not. Who knows? I've decided I don't care. I'm just going to give this the default unnamed category for its name. And then name. There we go. Okay. And let's go ahead and actually scrunch that over because I need to add a label in front. That's a panel, not a label. What do you think, Constantia? Name. Okay. Nom de plume. That didn't make any sense. There we go. And then let's add our OK button and our cancel button and scrunch up our control, all nice and scrunched like. These are the things we care about right here. So what I'm actually, I think I actually want to rename this. So I think I'm going to get rid of the add task form. Yes. The reason why is I'm going to rename this to the add item form. Your name file, yes, please. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I just realized that adding a category and adding a task use the exact same set of information. So instead of having two things, view code please, I can have one thing. So I'm going to make a static public add. This is going to be category. How do I want to do this? Sure, we'll do it this way. Why not? Add category. Actually, now how do I actually want to do this? This is a really good question. I'm going to worry about that technical detail in a moment. Let's just make this public void set category defaults. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, not that. I'm going to add a public enum item type and make task and category. Okay. Then we're going to add item type to here. And then we're going to come down here where it's like, well, what are we doing? And this guy that's like completely not a thing, we're going to just get rid of and make this an AIF because I'm crazy. Okay. And this is going to do a category. And just take this and boom. Instead of a category, it's going to be a task. Okay, cool. So what we want to do is if type, actually no, let's do it this way. Switch type default break case blah 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 category break case task break. Okay. So with the category, we want the text to equal add category, and we want the name to read unnamed category. We want to save the item type. Let's go ahead and just add this. Item type add dialog type equal dialog type equals type. In case I want that, just copy this, and instead of add category, it should read add task and unnamed task. Okay. So just setting it up that way, so that way I am not redoing a bajillion things that I've done before. Now what I need, oh, there's one more thing that I need. So right here, I'm going to add categories for list of categories. And what I'm going to actually do is, this is going to work a little bit differently too, because I need to name that right here. Categories. So categories dot items dot add none. And then categories dot selected index equals categories dot items dot count -1, because that's the last one, because the count is going to be plus the 1 to the end, because the first index is 0. Always important to remember. This is not going to add none, and in fact, categories dot selected index equals 0, because I want to automatically select the first category as the one that this is going to be added to. Okay. Now, the thing that's trick here is I don't actually have a way of getting a list of categories. I do know, however, that if I don't have any categories, that I'm in a big problem. Now, you might notice this over here. I think that this is where I'm going to make a list of all categories. Now, one of the things I need to ask myself is, how am I going to handle this, as it were? because I'm probably just going to make a static list of categories, but do I want to specify with a subcategory information with regards to its parent? And I think I probably do. So how am I going to go about setting this up? I'm probably going to have a private category parent equals null, public category parent, get return parent. This is a cool thing you can do. Private. Well, I don't even need a private set, right? Because I can just, I'll add it. It's a bit redundant, but you can actually just do this sort of thing to be like, hey, inside you can set it, but outside you can't. So, for example, I can make a function which is public add public void add subcategory category child, and then what this will do is this will go child.parent equals this and subcategories.add child. Okay, so this is going to be really important. Adds a subcategory to this category, and this is just going to be the child, the category to add to this one. Okay, so this is kind of important because this is going to let us backchain up sort of the list of things. So I'm going to go ahead and add here, and I'm going to make a region for master category list, and region static private list category, all categories. You've seen this drill before. Okay, so that saves me my voice to not talk through the thing that I'm doing. All right, so what I want to do here now is make a category constructor. So I'm going to come down here and just go public category all categories dot add this. Creates a new category, and there we go. Now what I want to do is grab our list of categories. So, actually, yeah. So here's actually something that I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to override toString. Names the category. So names the category, and then this should return the category name. Now I'm actually going to make a second public string toString bool full name. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to automatically do this, but names the category. The full name includes the name of the parent. So what this is going to be is if full name, this, else, return toString. This is simply going to return name, which I have somewhere right here. I don't know where. Oh, name's right up there. Okay, and then this is going to actually how do I want to designate? That's an interesting question. I could go to the char map and grab like an arrow character. I think I might just use a greater than sign though. So I'm going to make string name equals name, and then category parent equals parent. And then while parent does not equal null, we're just going to do a recursive back. Whoa, hit the mic stand. Sorry for that. My apologies. So parent by default is null. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do parent equal parent dot parent. And we're just going to go name equals parent dot name plus arrow plus name. So what this is going to do is this is going to prepend onto name each time there's a parent, the name of the parent. And then this is just going to return name. And that should make that function happy. Okay, so what we can do over here is what I want is I actually want to have the full name on these. So I'm just going to go for each category C in category.allCategories. Categories.items.add c.toString true. So I want the full name because here's the thing, is it probably will contain contextually relevant information. For example, if you have something that's in a category, I don't know, I'm not thinking of immediate things, but you can have categories with the same name that are in different categories, and it's relevant what category they're in. So just giving the full name, like, for example, maybe you have, what's a good example? Like, maybe you have a movies category. Inside of it, you have like to review, and then you have a books category, and inside that you have another category of like to review, right? Or like reviews to write, maybe instead of to review. So then you have two reviews to write categories, and you're like, well, which one's which? And so you need to know, oh, this one's the one that's inside books, this one's the one that's inside movies. That's the very contrived example, but that's sort of the idea of what's going on here. Now, when you're adding a category, remember that it doesn't actually need to be in a category, so that's why there's a none. Tasks, on the other hand, do need to be in a category. So this is going to require like doing some complicated stuff. So what I'm actually probably going to do, I'm probably going to do, let's see, cancel is just close dialog result equals dot cancel, because that's what we did. Okay, on the other hand, is going to dialog result equal dialog result okay, because that's what it is. Do stuff, and then close. Both ways they close, but they have different results. So this do stuff is going to depend upon what I'm doing. So how do I want to handle this? Maybe I want to have. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apparently hit Shift twice instead of Enter. Static. Public. Display. Okay, so this is going to need to be dialog result. So I'm going to call this display dialog rather than show dialog. And I'm going to give it a ref int, or actually straight up an out int. Category index and out string name. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is it's going to kind of overwrite stuff a little bit. So I'm going to make the what is this? Add item form AIF equals blah, and then this is going to need item type AIF dot show dialog. I'm going to need to add dialog result equals no, not there. Wants to set the enum, which is not what I want. This is going to eventually return result. It's not done yet because we need to set the category index. Yeah, right. Like it says, we can't do this until things have been properly named. So category index equals AF dot cancel button dot categories dot selected index and name equals AF dot name dot text. So the out specifier in an argument means that you are going to basically you're going to put information into this argument that's going to be able to go back to where you called it from. That's not the normal behavior. Normally, this is a local variable specific to this function. So when you go in here, it has a value set to it by whatever called it. But if you edit this specific variable, it gets a little confusing with classes because they're reference types, so you can go dot and do stuff, but if you change what they're referring to, it won't change the original. If you change the value of this, it won't change the original, but with the out specifier, it will. So this is a way of getting more information out of this than just the return value. So it's not something that comes up very often, but when it comes up, you want it. Okay, so shows a new item dialog that allows adding items. The type of item to add, an out variable to store the category index to store to add the new item to, the an out variable tan, an out variable to with the name for the new item and the dialog results. Okay, so this is, I think, done on this end, so I'm going to go ahead and close these for now, just to kind of keep some of that a little bit clearer. So what I actually want to do is go display dialog with this. This one is a task. And then I need two variables. So I need int category and string name. So this is out category and out name. So you have to specifically write out beforehand. They want to make sure that you know in screaming capital letters that these are going to be changed and modified. There's two forms of this, out and ref. Ref says I can change it, but I don't have to, which means you have to specify what its value is beforehand. Out means this isn't a way for me to get information out of this function. I will set it. So ref, you don't have to set it. Out, you do. Again, these do not come up often, but when they come up, you want them. And here we're just going to do whatever it is we do to add a task in full. So I know for one thing I'm going to need to make a task, task equal new task, task.name equals name, category dot all categories dot category dot tasks dot add task. So like this is a way of like getting the task into the thing. And wow, I just looked over at the time and it's like been half an hour. I'm going to go ahead and do this one and see about. Now, there's actually one more thing that I want to do, which is if this is equal to OK, then we add. We don't want to add that if it's not OK to add it, if that makes sense. Now, the reason, wow, that's a mistypoing of name. The reason why I'm calling this category ID is because this is going to add a category, so there's a strong likelihood that I'm going to want to use the category as a variable, like right here, category equals new category, category. Actually, here's what I should do. If category ID is less than category dot all categories dot length count. Arrays are length. These are count. It's confusing. So actually, instead of making that an if here, I'm just going to make bool add to category equals that. So if it's less than the count, now remember, doing this will add to finding this first because adding a new category, or because creating a new category automatically adds it to the list of all categories. Make the new category. So I'm just pre-calculating that bool. The category ID, remember, if it's none, it's going to be the last one, which is the same as count. So if it's equal to count, then we're not adding it to a category. But if it's less than count, we are. So that's what's going on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling out this information here. Equals name, and if add to category, category dot all categories, category ID dot add subcategory category. Okay, so this should, in theory, add category to it. Now note that we don't have anything set up to actually allow us to see these. So that's going to be the next step, and that's what I'm going to do next time, is I'm going to add the functionality that allows us to be able to actually view categories, once this pops up, actually view categories in the category view mode, or whatever we're calling that. I'm going to wait for this to pop up. There we go. So yeah, so we want to be able to add stuff there. So if we add a new category, right now it's none. There are no other options, and we can call this category Bob for no reason. And we have added it. There is now a category that exists named Bob. If we go to add a new category, you'll see Bob exists, so we can add something to Bob, and we can make this sub Bob. And if we go to like new task, you'll find up there for some reason, there's Bob, and then there's Bob sub Bob. So, and cancel will cancel. So if I go to category and I hit cancel, you'll notice that I did not add an unnamed category. So this is all working the way we want it to. We can, like I said, we can see the categories under the new dialogues, but we cannot actually see them show up in this list. So that's what we want to accomplish next time. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.